Hi, it's Valerie Kroll with Keller Williams, and I'm here with my friend Linda Weihofen. She is a reverse lending specialist with American Advisory Group here in town. Linda, thanks for coming down and helping me out.
My pleasure, Val. It's good to be here. Thank you.
What I love about Linda is she's like me, and we don't always do the business. Sometimes we meet with the client, and sometimes we actually don't do the business. So she really cares about the clients. She's the only reverse mortgage specialist I would invite anybody to use. As a matter of fact, she's cost me money because her product's so good. She's been able to get the senior to stay in her house. So why don't you tell me about the one you just finished with? You just got that phone call you were telling me about?
Yes. A lot of times I'm actually working with the adult children of my borrower. And in this instance, the daughter had come to me and said, you know, my mother's starting to fail and she really wants to stay in the home. That's her biggest desire. And I want to do anything I can to help her accomplish that.
Sure.
So I'm looking at your product to see if that might be a viable alternative for her. So we did the loan, and this was about 5 years ago. And I just got a call from the daughter on Friday telling me the sad news that her mother had passed. But she said, and she wanted to know what was her next step. And I always walk my clients through what to do when that happens, the heirs, the children, so that they're not, because it's not that easy. So I take them through what they need to do, walk them through it. But she said, but before we do that, I just have to tell you, and this is why I do what I do. She said that what you did, this reverse mortgage, made me able to honor my mother's wishes and keep her in the home. It made her life so much better the last 5 years of her life, and it made me feel better that I had followed her wishes and did what she wanted, and I could not have done it without the reverse mortgage. So those are the calls I hate to get, but the news that I love to get is that I made that woman's life bearable for her, and not only bearable, but had value, and she was happy.
Yeah, that's really what the product is for in the first place. Although it does have another application, which is as a realtor I like, in that if somebody was downsizing, I can help them purchase with that. Linda, could you tell me a little bit how that works?
So a lot of times people sell their home, or they don't sell their home because they're like, I wouldn't have enough to buy after I pay off my mortgage. If they have an existing mortgage, I wouldn't have enough to buy anything where I would want to live. Even though my house is too big, the electrical bills are too high, the landscaper, the pool guy, it's too expensive, and I'm only using like a third of the home or a quarter of the home, but I'm keeping the upkeep on the whole thing. However, if I sell the home and pay back the mortgage, I'm not going to have enough to buy another place. And in this instance, if they sold their home and say they got $300,000 out of the proceeds after paying back their mortgage, and they brought that to me, I could get them into a $600,000 place with no payments for the rest of their lives. And if they have the money, they don't even have a mortgage, but they're like, well, I would get, $700,000, but I don't want to invest that whole thing because now I'm tying it up again. It's like, well, good, bring me about $350,000. We can get you a $700,000 home, but that's more specific with no stairs. That's what you want, and then you can take the other $350,000 and stick it in the bank or have it grow for you or invest it. So there's a lot of different ways you can use that product, Val, and it's helping a lot of people.
It totally is. How about the gal that wanted to retire you were telling me about the other day?
Yes, I had a client in Lafayette who had a beautiful home worth a lot of money, and she didn't want to leave it. She'd been there quite some time. She was a nurse. And as a nurse, she worked with people a lot in their last days or their last weeks. And what she heard over and over from people about their regrets in their life, or their biggest regrets, were not doing the things that they'd always wanted to do, marking off that bucket list. Yeah. And for her, it was travel. She'd always wanted to travel. She'd been a nurse for over 40 years at Kaiser. She made great money, but her mortgage, she had a large mortgage, and her mortgage payment was such that if she retired, she couldn't afford to pay the mortgage and travel. So it didn't really meet her needs to do that. So she said, my only other option is to sell the home, which I don't really want to do. She had outfitted the bottom part of the home so that when she was older, she could have live-in care there. She had it all set up. She knew what she wanted, but the numbers weren't working. So she actually took money out of her 401k to help buy down her mortgage because she was a little over what we could do. And it was worthwhile to her because we paid off her mortgage. The next week after she was funded, she retired, and now she's traveling all over the world.
Nice. Yeah, because if you've read the book, the 5 Regrets of the Dying, That's one of the big ones. Nobody ever regrets, not working hard enough or something like that. They regret the things in life they wanted to do and never got around to it. So that's beautiful that you allowed somebody to go travel like that.
It's very fulfilling. I always feel like I'm the fairy godmother granting wishes with my magic wand. So it's
You
great.
are with the magic wand. So Linda Weihofen with American Advisors Group, give me a call. Linda, why don't you tell everybody what your phone number is?
It's 925-348-4267. And I just want to say, working with people like Valerie that'll give up a huge commission in order to satisfy their clients' desires to stay in their home, you got to give it over to Valerie.
Yeah, that was a painful day, but it was the right thing to do.
Thank you.